Have you ever seen that Japanese tattoo that look like a severed head? At first glance, you're like, yo, that's too gory, right? But this isn't just look like a brutal, it is, for no reason. There's a real reason it happened in Japan, and why it ended up as tattoo too. Konnichiwa, Yoshi desu. Namakubi literally means exactly that, a severed head. But the key point is, this didn't start as some symbol from the beginning. Back when Japan had non-stop wars, like late 1400s to early 1600s, on the battlefield it was pure real life, even claimed the credit. I took down the commander, I landed the final blow. But if you believe people just by words, everything turns into chaos. Because once you achievement get money, stats, promotion, it's all on the line. So the logic back then became super simple. Don't talk, bring the result. And yeah, brutal. But the most direct result was the head. Doesn't that feel weird already, right? Like bring proof is one thing, but why the head specifically? This is honestly a pure function thing. In war, it's not just how many, it's who. 10 random soldiers versus one famous commander. It's a totally different way. A hand or an ear doesn't tell your identity, it's just a piece. But with the head, the face is there. So the head was basically the most obvious ID proof back then. Okay, that part makes sense, but then wouldn't be bringing enough. Why go further into verification? This is where Western viewers usually freeze on the word first, KUBI JIKKEN. KUBI is basically neck or head in its context, and JIKKEN literally means a rear check. So KUBI JIKKEN is basically confirm who this is and confirm who gets the credit. So why bother? Because credit isn't just ego, it was literally a reward system. Get recognized, get rewarded, status and promotions. And when promotion is on the line, people lie, exaggerate, fight every time. So if you accept it by word only, the whole system is collapsed. That's why the real verification step exists. That's KUBI JIKKEN. But here's the weird part. This is war business, right? So when things became peaceful, you'd expect this imagery to fade. But it shows up more in art. Here's the key. Less war doesn't mean less interest in war stories. You know, we don't fight wars daily, but we still watching war movies and war games. We don't do crimes, but we bring crime documentaries or crime games. Humans will consume it as stories even if it's not in real story. And the big mass media back then, ukiyo-e. And yeah, Western viewers need this explained. Ukiyo-e isn't just a style, it's a medium. Ukiyo-e is basically wood block print, carved wood, inked, and printed in mass quantities. So think of it like posters, print, entertainment image, back then version. So why severed heads keep appearing? Because it shows the ending instantly. Okay, that makes sense, but then another question pop up, right? Like people can just talk about it. Why turn it into drawing and prints? So yeah, why not just rumors? Why make into visual and prints? This is actually simple. No photos, no videos back then. People wanted to see the ending. When something big happens, people basically ask the same three questions. Did they really die? Is it really over? So what's the final conclusion? But rumors split and multiple forever. They are not dead. They escaped. They were secretly spared. And when the conclusion doesn't land, society stays shaky. So mass media love locking the ending into the one strong image. And the strongest one image is the severed head. Even if you hate it, once you see it, your brain goes, okay, it's over. And now you are probably thinking this, right? If everyone keeps seeing the same image, someone's gonna tattoo it eventually. So how did that image actually move into tattoo culture? The flows is honestly simpler than people think. First, it exists as the wizard proof image in a real-world context. Then it spread through mass-produced ukiyo-e prints. Then it became a shared, familiar public image. So tattoo reference naturally poured from it. And here's the point. Tattoo artists didn't just invent imaginary gore out of nowhere. They took what people already recognized and moved it onto skin. And tattoos aren't just sticking a picture on. The second, it's on your body. It starts connecting to your attitude, your statement. And this is the part I get most curious about. What's going through someone's head when they do this on their skin? Is it just it looks hardcore? Is there a deeper meaning? There's no single correct answer. Meaning stack. First, don't talk, show wizard. You choose it, you own it, you excuse. Because Namakubi originally was literally the wizard you bring. Second, it could be me next. Today you win, tomorrow you might be done one who's done. So it becomes a warning. Don't live sloppy. Take life seriously. Now, why the Yakuza crime misunderstanding in the West is honestly simple. People don't know the whole context. They just see a severed head. So their brain jumps straight to violence, crime images. That's why we have to explain to context. Then it clicks. So Namakubi tattoos carries these meanings: proof, responsibility, morality. If you made it this so far, you are gonna see Namakubi totally differently now. So the conclusion today is this. Namakubi wasn't born as brutality flex. In word, proof, and verification. In print, a hard stop ending. In tattoos, an attitude toward choices and consequences. I will keep doing these Japanese tattoo symbol with real context videos. So if you want, hit subscribe just once and click like. お疲れ様でした。